Hi there, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you probably saw my infertility video. I've been pregnant 11 times. I've had 3 miscarriages, 3 second trimester stillbirths, 3 ectopic pregnancies, and 2 living children. I decided to kind of go specific with some of my ectopic pregnancy stories for this next video because after seeing where my views were at from the last few videos, I thought that maybe something like this could be helpful to someone who is going through an ectopic pregnancy or worried that they might be experiencing an ectopic pregnancy. I remember Googling it myself the very first time it happened, kind of wondering if it was happening or not. I also hope to post some videos in the future regarding like teaching and parenting and all of that good stuff. But let's start here and let me just go back. Again, 11 pregnancies. I've been pregnant every year for the last 10 years. This is the first year, 2025, that I have not been pregnant at some point in the year, which is wild to say out loud, but yeah, that's where I'm at. To go back to my very first ectopic pregnancy kind of story, when I think about kind of signs and symptoms specifically, I think about just kind of having this like really severe lower back pain. And I'm Googling and wondering everything like, pains around ligament pains, cramping, all of that can be normal, but it was a very sharp lower back pain. I've experienced that with all 3 ectopic pregnancies. Very distinct, much more than just kind of the cramping that I felt when I think about my 2 living kiddos. I needed a heating pad to even kind of resolve it. Another thing that happened was I had some light spotting. Now, it was definitely not red blood. It was kind of that darker, older blood color, but definitely some light spotting. And for me, those were really the only 2 major symptoms. I definitely had that cramping that turned into kind of lower abdominal pain as well. But yeah, that was it. And the spotting did not stop either. It wasn't like, oh, you called your OB and I spotted for a day. They're like, okay, just keep an eye on it, make sure it stops. It continued. The spotting did not end. And so that was part of it as well. And so with each one, I get an HCG test to test my level, and you get a first number, and then 48 hours to make sure that it's doubled. And so it not doubling is another major sign that it could be an ectopic pregnancy. And usually the numbers kind of start lower anyways. I think you're always looking to get over 100, and the numbers were always were lower. And then, come in after the HCG is showing that it's not doubling as it should, to get an ultrasound to see if the pregnancy is in the uterus as it should be. And with my very first ectopic pregnancy, the best option for me is what they had me take a drug called methotrexate, and that resolved the pregnancy. With my second ectopic pregnancy, they could never actually see that the pregnancy was in the fallopian tubes. Like, they just, from the ultrasound they took, they were not able to gather enough information, but they knew that something was very wrong. Because if you go back to my other video, where this is the ectopic pregnancy that occurred when I had to go to the emergency room, and when my father-in-law was really ill, that whole experience. But that was when the pain was so severe that it was like to the point of vomiting. Like, I was in so much pain, but they couldn't say for certain where the pregnancy was located. So that was when I had exploratory surgery, was with that second ectopic pregnancy. And that was when they noticed that when they went in and they saw the internal bleeding that was happening and removed my right fallopian tube. And so that was how my second ectopic pregnancy was resolved. And then with my third ectopic pregnancy, this one also took me to the emergency room with pain. But it was a similar kind of situation where they knew my number, like my blood levels were showing I was pregnant. They weren't doubling as they should. They couldn't see it in the uterus, the pregnancy. But with this one, it just kind of was, I spent the night. They were giving me pain medication to try to just help my pain levels. And then spent the night the next day, and they were able to just, my pain was starting to go away, and they believe that the pregnancy resolved itself and came out of the tube and turned into a miscarriage, if you will, is really the only explanation that they gave me. And then, of course, you're checking your blood levels, you know, every 2 days, and then it ended up being like every 4 days and then a week. And so that's something else to note. If you go through an ectopic pregnancy, you will have to keep having those blood levels checked, your HCG levels checked, to make sure you go all the way back to 0, that the pregnancy is fully resolved before, of course, you can ever try again. But yeah, so that was what I experienced with all 3 ectopic pregnancies. They were all different in their own way. But yeah, I would just say if you're experiencing that really severe lower back pain along with spotting, don't hesitate. Go and get a blood test. Ask for an ultrasound. I know those can be harder to come by, but just go and get a blood test, because that's the first step to see kind of what things are happening. So yeah, just wanted to share that experience, and I hope that no one, of course people are going through it, but unfortunately I hope that this video helps you if you're kind of on the fence of wondering if you are experiencing ectopic pregnancy. But yeah, thanks for watching.